Hey guys, Doug and Jamie here live via FaceTime because we can't afford to be live via satellite. A little update. Ontario has banned fires. It's also banned crownland camping. So we're not really getting outside. So this is kind of the best thing we can do right now. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect scenario. We'd rather be outside. We'll ask some questions of each other, and then we're going to encourage you to put some questions in the comments. You guys can ask us some stuff, and nothing's off the table, so go ahead and ask away. Take it away, Jan.
Okay, so the first question I'm going to throw at you is the easiest and toughest video you shot, and why?
Okay, so having thought about this, the easiest video that I shot was a video that's pretty close. I think it's only like 10 views away from 16,000 views. I think it's probably the most viewed video on the channel. Our channel is very much about grinding it out. We don't have these videos that have taken off and had huge numbers, but this one has done really well. And it's 1 minute and 45 seconds. How to download video off a Wi-Fi enabled action cam onto your iPhone or onto your Android phone. And it applies for any action cam. It's a very short tutorial, and I did it all in one take, and basically it's something I couldn't find on YouTube itself. When I asked, it was an easy one to shoot and it got some great numbers, but who would have knew at the time, right? Well, I always thought too, when you're looking to research something as a tutorial to figure something out, I don't want to be sitting there watching a 6-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute video on something that doesn't need to be that complex. So my thinking at the time, and still is, you know, let's just get to the point. The hardest video I ever shot was the NASA astronauts coming to my hometown, to Sudbury, Ontario. This one was difficult to shoot because there was a lot of different locations that I wanted to go to, because NASA astronauts came here in the early 70s. They actually went to a lot of places. There's a lot of information, and one of the things that's key when you're doing a video, I think, is to be accurate with your information. And something like this was a historical thing, tried to bring all that information together. I spent a lot of time researching it. The video required a lot of editing. It was done in the early stages of the channel, so I was still, and I am still, always learning about editing. Particularly then, it was a little more difficult because I think I edited it on my phone. So I didn't have a really big workspace to work with, but I made it happen. Jamie, no particular order, what's your most meaningful video? What video has meant the most to you?
You know what, Doug? This is a video that I went back and I watched it just not too long ago, actually. It's a Show Us Your Steak video for men's mental health. You know, I actually, when I started watching it, I was amazed because the way that you shot it, Doug, like even in the opening part of it with the music from Mike Charette, the song, it bolds so well to that video. But the way that you shot it at the opening scene, when you're walking through the bush and you could see the smoke coming from the fire that we made, like, I mean, and with the music, it was just, wow. The quality is awesome.
Well,
and, you know,
and I think the music lent to it as well, because Mike's music in that song in particular was dealing with his own mental health issues.
Me behind everything, the men's mental health, and like, I mean, it's just, it was more of a serious topic for us to do and handle, and I thought it was done very well. Like, it was so, it touches me every time I watch it, and you know, when you watch something and you feel it and you get kind of emotional, you know, wow, well done, Doug. Like, I mean,
hey, well, that was both of us put that together. I mean,
most interesting video that you have done up until today, and it doesn't have to require me in the video.
Well, that's good because you're not in it. The Long Lake Gold Mine, the Forgotten Mistake in Northern Ontario. If you watch the video, and I'll link all the videos we discuss in the description, this one in particular was picked up by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation in a story, and of course it was referred to as an independent film, which was pretty neat because that's, you know, quite an accomplishment in my thinking anyways. Did well because it was attached to the story, so it got a lot of views. It still gets a lot of views every month, and for the longest time, up until maybe 4 or 5 months ago, every month it's been the most watched video on the channel in terms of watch times. It resonated with a lot of people. It's an interesting story, and the story isn't complete yet, and I'm anxious for the day when it actually is complete and the area is cleaned up as the government has promised. What is the most interesting video you've been part of, and why?
I'm going to have to say the Bushcraft video that we did with Mike and Jason Paquette from Keepers of the Wild, they were so knowledgeable to get out there, and we're outdoors guys, Doug, and to get out there and to learn even more stuff that you kind of open your mind up to, like edible plants and how to use a bow drill properly. Like, I mean,
and you did it. You got right in there and you did it.
Yeah, it was awesome. And you know what? It felt great because, like, I mean, to have a skill for that, to be in the outdoors and be, to know in the back of your mind, if you ever needed those skills, they're there if you need them, right, to survive. I found that was very interesting. I learned a lot that day. Okay, Doug.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be me involved, but it better be.
Well, I think it is, if I remember the question correctly.
Let me know what your best tasting video that you've done.
All right, so obviously you're referring to your cooking, my eating, correct?
Yeah.
Because I've done some cooking videos on my own, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, hey, I make do with what I have to. Look, I want everybody to know this is an extremely difficult choice, because when I was thinking about this, I mean, we've had a lot of great meals in the outdoors, and you've cooked them all. I'm not complaining at all. They've been all fantastic, but if one has stood out to me, it's the Canadian Moose Burger.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Man, and I use the word unbelievably a lot, but that one was unbelievable. It was so good. The taste, it was so good. Some of your finest work out there.
And that video almost didn't happen, Doug, is because some people, well, nobody knows this, but you and I, we were looking for the location. And we were walking around, and remember when I tripped and fell and I went down that hill?
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for running into that tree at the bottom of the hill, oh man, it
could have been bad.
It was brutal. Like, we were gonna, like, oh, you know what? Let's just pack it in. You know?
and I remember we were stepping into snow, like it was up to our waist in some areas. It was crazy. And one of the things that happens in Northern Ontario is once you park a vehicle at the side of the road, other people show up.
You said it.
It happens every single time. Yep. I'm not even kidding. You park the vehicle, and then all of a sudden there's other people around and stuff like that. So they're looking to see what you're doing and where they should be going. They have no idea why you're there, but they feel like they should be there too. That's a Northern Ontario thing. Yeah. But the video happened. That video happened. The burger was amazing. The video's done really well. It was cooked on the Blackstone. We've been big supporters of Blackstone. And hopefully in the near future, we'll, especially during these isolated times, it might be a good time to pop that Blackstone back out, Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie, what is it like working with me on videos?
I'm going to keep this real short. I'm not going to get all lovey-dovey, but I wouldn't call it work, Doug. This isn't a job for you and I. This is like a hobby, pastime, a passion. You and I, we're similar in age. We have a lot of things in common. We've known each other for a long time. Yeah, at times, it is tough because we do a lot of location shoots, and they're not always easy. This is odd for you and I to be doing FaceTime videos.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's tough because, you and I, there's nothing better than at the end of the day, you and I are sitting around a campfire and we're laughing and we're enjoying our time. And you know what? That means a lot to me because, I used to do that with my dad a lot when I was younger, and I don't have that anymore. It's important, when you and I get together and we do our thing.
Yeah,
I want to say thank you to you.
Thanks for putting up with me, because I can be kind of demanding at some points.
You are. I understand why though, Doug. Because when we first started shooting videos, you used to give me shit all the time, and you know what? Because I was trying to get in and do stuff, and you're like, "Whoa, slow down. We got to get this, and we got to get it." And you know what? It took me a while to understand where you were coming from. You want to put out the best quality video possible. I think I've come a long way.
You have come a long way, and I don't have to say as much as often. Put it that way.
Yeah.
It's tough if you want it to look good and you want it to come out good. You're in the conditions. You're out in the wilderness. Nothing works the way it does when you're sitting at home and you can plan your lighting and do whatever, right?
Best location video.
Best location, or the thing that impressed me the most, was actually when I did the abandoned prison in Burwash. You're going through a beautiful wilderness. You're doing an hour walk into this location, and all of a sudden there's this huge, just absolutely huge building. It was a prison at one time, and having that in like the middle of nowhere just conjures up all kinds of thoughts of what life used to be like back when it was operational. And also it makes you think of what it's like now and how it is now. And so it's kind of an odd mix, but I've always been fascinated by industry has come into the wild and decimated it to a certain extent. And in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, nature begins to take over. Now the gold mine's a bad example because nature's been unable to take over because of the arsenic. But something like the prison, where you have like trees growing out of the roof of this place, does ultimately reclaim industry. The video you're most proud of?
I'm gonna have to say Ishpatina Ridge. The feeling I got when I got to the top of that mountain, it was overwhelming. Like, I mean, the emotions, I got the best of me, and it was such a struggle. What happened during the video is when I fell and hurt my leg, inside my mind, I brushed it off and we kept going, but it was very evident that this was way worse, because as I was walking and I realized this is bad. The next morning when I woke up and I couldn't even bend my knee, I thought, oh my God. And I'm like, we've come this far. You know what? There's no way I'm going to stop us from going to the top. Like, I mean, and it was a struggle. I had a hard time, like, I mean, because there was so much to walk over, to walk under. And when you have one good leg and one bad leg, that was tough, man. And we got to the top and it was just the emotions overcame me.
I want to point out the fact that the injury happened early on.
It did.
You know, so that affected you, but you still led the way to the campsite, to find the campsite, and you still led the way up the mountain when we actually did the 3.5 kilometers, you know, the next morning up the mountain and back down. Courage and the stamina and what it took to do that, because I know you were hurting bad. I mean, I saw the pictures after when you know your knee was like a football.
Yeah, it was bad.
You know, to go through that and put the mental pain, or put the pain away mentally, and just keep trucking. And man, I was just struggling to breathe and to to have the will to keep going, and that was such a hard trip.
Doug, out of all the videos you have done, which one meant the most to you and why?
Okay, so
I think I know the answer to this one too.
Yeah, you may be surprised, but
okay.
Do you want me to give you the answer that I think you think? Three Crosses video.
That's the one I was going to say.
And I figured you would. It was special to me because, of course, I went with my 77-year-old dad, and we climbed this mountain. Now, albeit there's like a trail, like a logging trail type thing through the woods, but it was all trailed, so it wasn't like extremely difficult. We didn't go up the rock face, which some people do, but we went behind this mountain and did this climb and filmed the whole thing. And my dad was excellent through the whole thing, especially with the filming. He was very patient, give him a chance to rest. And I was going up and down, you know, this road, going to get the camera and stuff like that. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. It meant a lot to him because he'd been up there a few times before. Where the Three Crosses are located, Mattawa, Ontario, Canada, is where my dad was born. All of it was just really, really cool. It was meaningful to me because it meant a lot to my dad.
Yes.
It meant a lot to me too, James. I'm not saying, but I know it meant even more to him. So that meant more to me, that it meant a lot to him. But personally, on a personal level, without a doubt, the thing video that's meant the most to me is our trip to Ishpatina, which we just talked about. Just accomplishing what we accomplished, how it all went down, how much energy and mental and physical fortitude it took to get to this place and to get back. I personally enjoyed the fact that I challenged myself and I accomplished it. I pushed myself beyond what I thought I could do. So for me, at my age and my physical abilities, I impressed myself. So what a rewarding feeling completing that, and to do it with you and Tracy was fantastic. Worked out great. We met some great people. The whole experience was awesome. What's been your biggest disappointment coming aboard and being part of a YouTube channel?
I got like two parts to this one.
Okay.
Obviously, the first one, Doug, is when you and I were actually interviewing for a TV show for the History Channel.
Right.
I don't know if you want to give the name of the show or not. It's up to you. I'll leave that up to you.
The show's Eating History, which is on the History Channel right now, both in the United States and Canada. Smokey, old Smokey, an MRE guy, a good guy from the MRE community, is playing the part of me. And I'm not, the other guy, I don't know who he is, but he is playing the part of you. But we'll have more. Now that you brought it up, we'll have more to say about that in the very near future.
Yeah, disappointing. You know what? Life goes on, and maybe something else comes our way down the road. You know what? We didn't go looking for this, Doug. They came looking for us, and they found us. And you know what? That's kudos to you and kudos to me. So my second part to that, sorry, Doug, I'll keep it real short.
Yeah, okay.
Disappointing time was your M&Ms.
Oh my God.
29-year-old M&Ms that we had to eat. Oh man, the taste. I don't know if you guys want to check back and look at that video. I watched it again, and funny, man, it was funny, but not so funny at the time. The taste was absolutely horrendous.
No,
I've never tasted anything so bad in my life.
You throw a lot of F-bombs there that day.
Yeah, and I threw a lot of stuff out of my mouth as well that day. You know what? Everything else, the MRE, that was the first time I ever did an MRE review with you, to try one out and do one with you. And you know what? You almost killed me that day.
Well, I wanted to make it worth your time.
Yeah, but you know what? The rest of the MRE was excellent. I was actually surprised. I was shocked at how well it did taste.
And you thought that one was good, so you know, a fresher one would be a lot better. So maybe you're gonna have to do another MRE review against your better judgment.
And I will do another one with you, Doug, if the circumstances are right, and if it lines up. You and I, it's a struggle sometimes. You and I being able to get together and go do stuff.
Well, and the thing is, when we can get together, I'd rather do other things that are a little bit more. You know, we're getting out in the outdoors and we're actually doing some camping or doing some fishing or doing something, because that's the kind of stuff we both enjoy doing together. So let's end it there for this one. And what we want to do for the next one, or in the very near future as well, is have you guys chime in with in the comment section of this video with some questions for us, whether it be, I don't know, about YouTube or personal questions or whatever you want to know that you wanted to know. We'll do our best to answer as many of them as we can. We're continuing to self-isolate, and we're hoping that restrictions start getting lifted in the near future, and we can get outdoors and get outside and do our thing. So in the meantime, be safe, everyone. Jamie, you be safe too, brother.
Yeah, you too, Doug. We're gonna see some better times ahead of us. We just gotta all stay positive.
Yeah, man. Stay home. Stay home and be creative. We're trying to be creative. We're trying to find different ways of doing things. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our channel name is Pinetree Line Out. Oh, it's no longer Pinetree Line Outdoors. Our channel name is Pinetree Line Productions. Our website is still ptloutdoors.com. We are still very much associated with the outdoors. Don't get me wrong. Anyways, guys, take care. Fist pump, James.
Yeah.